Welcome to all my viewers and subscribers. Thank you for being here with me for today's reading on the 29th of July. And of course, it is the buck full moon. I can assure you that my night, although I think here in the southern hemisphere and in South Africa where I am, I think today is going to be the full moon showing. But last night was extremely powerful. I was up a few times during the night, each time with this overwhelm of emotion in my body. I've spoken about crying before and about how important it is to release and purge and use tears to help us heal. But in my journey, I've also realized that after all the transformational processes I've been through, that overwhelm of tears can also just be an experience from a divine source, which is there to almost cathartically usher one into a four-dimensional state of being where it almost feels like the spirit, the light body, transcends. This is obviously what that word cathartic means, to put us in a state. And so we might feel these emotions are bringing us into a state of peace and calm, or it's having an underlying uneasy ripple effect. Under the surface of the skin, we might feel like we want to stretch ourselves. And we also might feel that we're actually experiencing some severe stress, which might need a visit to the doctor for some more assurance. But yes, we are all feeling something if we are tuned in. If we are on this ascension journey and we are attuning ourselves to a higher vibration, we're going to be very conscious of what's coming in through the gates of the face, all the senses, and most certainly what's happening in the subconscious mind space. So I'm encouraging you to try and find some time over the next few days, also because we're approaching the Lion's Gate 8-8 portal, to be sure of who and what you are when it comes to your emotions. Because our mind is really trapping us into a cycle. And our emotions drive the operating system. The emotions are signaling to us what is safe, what is not, what is true. It's directing our decisions more than we know. And we are all individuals, so we're all experiencing something very different and sometimes very hard to articulate. For people who cannot express themselves verbally, it's very difficult to express how one is feeling if we don't know the emotions. And if we're not tapping into understanding the emotions, it's also very difficult to understand what feelings are manifesting and why. The correlation between our feelings and our emotions is very, very important, because our feelings are so openly displayed for everybody else. When we are angry, it might come across as sad. And when we are sad, it might come across as angry. We also cannot presume and assume that anybody knows what's going on in our minds. Even though I am here being completely transparent with you, I've got a lot of other things running in the back of my mind. So I think it is important to maybe look at the environment that we've created because of these projections, because of these unsynchronized feelings and emotions, and decide for ourselves if we are going to start drawing nearer to one another. Isn't that time that we start sharing more deeper aspects of ourselves so that there is no doubt or confusion, so that that truth can slowly surface and that we can all realize there is no need for us to be hiding away from one another. I don't know where humanity got it all wrong, at what point in time our feelings became less important to share with one another. Across the globe now, we are seeing the pop-ups of communities banding together off-grid, healing festivals, workshops, circles, isolated events to bring us together. And all of these things have a profound impact on the soul. Once that process or journey has come to a completion, we have a realization. There is change, there is transformation. I think in reality, though, these short spurts of binge healing takes us back or sets us back, or we end up putting ourselves back. Where do we see the growth of the implementation if it's not happening on a wider scale? I do concern myself with the events and the music community here in Cape Town and South Africa, and it does concern me the amount of time and energy that is put into the production of a lot of these festivals. And in the future, I really do hope to be a part of what can make these places safer for people. So how will you create a safe environment for yourself? Just first and foremost for you. To be still and to really honor myself using these tools and techniques that I learned in India and through my devotional work in India. I've never been so needed now in this critical time when I'm being forced to address these critical things in my life, the underlying emotions and feelings. To resort to a space almost feeling stagnant, feeling isolation. Of course, it's going to bring up a lot of uncomfortable pastimes. But we are ready for this work to be done. We are ready to start severing from the 3D matrix, from the things that we cannot fix, change, and control, and the things that have kept us suppressed and in this lack mentality, sabotaging ourselves. And you know what? We always say, oh, I do this to myself. I've got to forgive myself. But we are already there. It's a split second, a moment of realization that can shift the consciousness. Even here, even if you found me and you've made it this far in the reading, we are slowly shifting together. All right, the 29th of July, and almost at the end of the 7th year 7th month of the year. I am the gambling of the fraudulent. I am the splendor of the splendid. I am victory, I am determination, I am the goodness of the good. Among the Vrishni, I am Vasudeva. Among the Pandava, I am Arjuna. Among the sages, I am Vyasa. Among poets, I am Usana, the poet. Among punishers, I am the scepter. Among those who seek victory, I am statesmanship. Also, among secrets, I am silence. Knowledge among knowers am I. We've reached the conclusion of this list of special manifestations given by the Lord for our meditation in order to enable us to perceive their underlying divinity and eventuality. By a process of expansion of our inner vision to perceive all as God. And yes, in the last few readings, I have had to try and pronounce many very weird and strange names, and I spoke about names yesterday. And if we could only use these affirmations, the one that starts with I am, how often have I've known about this little test, and I've asked, or I've heard people ask in this spiritual context, who are you? And that person would stand there and say, I am so-and-so, the name. I am age. I am living in this country, and actually no. How can we perceive such limitations when we have all of this chi, energy, electricity, and light within us? We are a light body in a vessel. So can we start from within the light body and begin to describe that part of ourselves? And it's good. Get your journals out. Start tuning in and really get to know all those incredible features about your operating system. Krishna also identifies him as God's manifestation, as well as the disciple Arjuna and the chronicler Vasya or Vyasa. If the goodness of the good is God's manifestation, even so is the gambling of the cheat. This does not mean that Krishna sanctions gambling or that we should become expert gamblers before we can know God. Far from it. Here is a double-edged sword. Subjectively, these evils are to be ruthlessly and scrupulously avoided, as they lead us away from God. Objectively, when these qualities are found in others, I've seen a few sunbirds here in the garden today. It's a really beautiful winter's day. Thank you, God. Objectively, when these qualities are found in others, we should refrain from condemning them, but endeavor to see through even this veil of evil and enjoy a vision of the glorious God hidden within. Do we understand that? That He's giving us permission to enjoy everything without judgment. That everything is gloriously His creation. Enjoy a vision of the glorious God hidden within all. This teaching and this technique, when applied to our daily life, enables us to develop. What is happening here with me today? As I'm watching the birds. Perhaps it's the birds that want to say something. I think it's this beingness. It's the want to feel comfortable here with you. And to just attune the energy to a frequency of love and attunement. In this instance, graciously accepting the distraction of the sound of the birds for our healing. This teaching and this technique, when applied to our daily life, enable us to develop the spirit of understanding. That's just what I've mentioned. We learn to find God and not faults in all. All are evolving. Gosh, yes, imagine having a part of the mind switched off to the point where you can never think anything bad of yourself. That would really give you free rein to act like a crazy clown, paint the town red, and balls to the walls. Have a great time. We are all evolving. We're all changing. And we have to give ourselves the grace to do so. The space. We must not cultivate faults in ourselves, but we must not despair when their presence in us comes to our notice. Furthermore, we must not recognize the presence of faults in others. Thinking about others' faults only imports them into ourselves. It is when we are confronted with our own failures that humility arises, paving the way for devotion and growth in the divine. The best way to preserve a secret is silence. What a divinity of practical wisdom Krishna is. Well, we know of all these saints and sages. We know that God manifests in all. We know that there have been very, very many incarnations of God. Some say many incarnations of Jesus. I believe it was the Christ consciousness, though. That consciousness that is still available to all of us. That feeling that I felt just for a brief moment. And once you've got that awakening realization, there's no going back. You will know when you are ready. Let it fill your heart space with love. Let your eyes shine their light. And please share these readings with anyone that you think will resonate with them. I am growing a conscious community that knows what's going on in this world. And by that I mean we are all suffering under some kind of oppression, spiritual warfare, and so many other battles, personal ones, great losses in our communities and our countries. So I'm praying for protection. Let this light knowledge inspire you. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Please give me a like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, so that we can all ascend together. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Namaste. Amen. God bless you.